Alright, y'all, we are back with episode 13 of Total Villain Multiverse. Guys, it is crazy to me how fast we're flying through these, even though I am technically supposed to be on, like, episode 20 right now, but we don't talk about December and the beginning of January, y'all. We're here now, and I guess the first thing that I'll say before we get into our Boney Island section is Sasha. If y'all did not watch the post-credit scenes last time, Sin was lured to, well, I guess not lured, she was asked to come to the health tent by Zombie Blake, which was being controlled by Wanda, and when she was brought there, Sasha was in there since she was super sick, but the Zombie Blake went over and bit her, and Sin now knows that Sasha is zombified. As you can see, I went into Adobe Photoshop and tried to Photoshop Sasha that's zombified, so I did my best. Don't judge me. I don't think it's bad for what it is. It took like freaking 10 minutes. Just because I had never used it before. But now, she, according to Lauren, has just been miraculously healed. Sure, her skin is a little green, but, you know, everyone's got something wrong with them here. She wouldn't even be the first green person here. She wouldn't even be the second, with Afton and Magica. And Zomboss was here at one point, and Wanda. So, you know, just keep on going, I guess. And she's allowed to compete. But in Boney Island, we need to talk about Sonar and Venom. Guys, I think this would be a legendary fight, because Sonar goes full beast mode, which, if you haven't seen, because I haven't really made it a big deal at all, but Sonar can go, like, into a beast form, and he does that during some of the more physical challenges, but he goes full beast mode trying to attack Venom, and we'd have a really good fight here, and I'm actually going to say, I'm going to say that Sonar wins. Yeah, I think Sonar wins, but I don't think he finds the thing, because what happens with Sonar is when he goes into the beast form, when he's in beast form, he has all of his intelligence go to power. Like if they were stats, right? All of his intelligence goes to power. So, but if he doesn't get out of it, he has no idea where he's going to find the thing. So I don't think he'd be able to come back to normal in time, and I think that he's not able to find it, meaning neither are allowed to get an advantage today. That's probably a good thing, though, because this challenge is a really hard one. So, when it comes to them coming back, I think that everyone would be like, hey, at least you beat Venom on this team, and morale is still pretty high, as most of these, at least with this half, which are the people that Sonar's associating with, and they're trying to get on Sonar's good side anyway. So, I think that that's fine. The only people that have a lot lower of a morale are Afton, Mimic, Magica, and Sloane. And I think that Magica is just kind of, like, she feels for the Mimic on what Afton's done to the Mimic. Honestly, making it exist for one, and then beating it up and giving it that killer AI, you know, everything. While Afton has, I mean, he just hates that his creation isn't listening to him. That really hurts his ego. So he's been complaining to Dr. Sloan about it all morning, and the reason her morale's low is she doesn't care at all. She doesn't give a crap. She really doesn't care about Afton at all. She wishes that she could have had Azula come to the other side, because at least Azula will shut up when she tells her to. So yeah, they're not great, but Sloan isn't dumb enough to where she would vote someone off just for being annoying. She needs to win, or at least make it far enough to finish her creation. On Vader's Vengeance, I think a few people probably notice about Sasha, and I think Toga's one of them, but she doesn't get any time alone with Sasha to ask her anything. Meanwhile, Death and Vader are too preoccupied with each other, and Azula and Sin have teamed up, so Sin broke the news to Azula, and Azula's like, oh, awesome. And then Sasha, I mean, she's a zombie. She's about the same as Blake. Although, maybe if she tries hard enough, she can form, like, a sentence or two. Very easily manipulatable. I feel so bad for Sasha, y'all. She came into this season depressed as crap, finally got happy, lost one of her friends, got, like, severely ill, and then, but just barely able to stay in the game. But then was zombified immediately. So I feel so bad for this character, but, you know, I'm writing her, so I'm making her depressed, so I can't be talking. But yeah, let's go ahead and go to our challenge section. So for our challenge section, this is our first challenge with 2 teams instead of 3. We got Vader's Vengeance and Sonar's Super Buddies. I still love that name. I came up with it on the spot. We have yet another suggested by Squidbot372, aka the co-runner of this season. Not really, but again, I say this every time. If y'all want to maybe be featured in a video, why don't y'all go ahead and go down, comment at least the rough draft of an idea for a challenge, and you will be featured. Most likely you'll be featured in an upcoming video. But if not, I guess Squidbot has great ideas like this one we're about to talk about right now. So let's just stick with him. Alright, so this is Challenge 59. I forgot to bring Venom down. My bad. Let me bring Venom down. Whoops. Okay, this is Challenge 59. And it's called Pop Quiz on the people you just met. So I changed a few things from what Squidbot originally suggested, like the name and like one rule, but not enough for it to become a partially suggested. So Lauren brings the final 15 together for the next challenge, being trivia. They've been through hell these last 2 challenges, even being chased by a chain jump a while back. And the next challenge is simply a quiz. Some laugh until they see what Lauren set up. Contestants will have to go to a cage suspended above a pit of lava. It's just special effects since Lauren's not that deranged. At least she isn't anymore, y'all. Plus, you could say a lot of these people deserve it, but I mean, there's also people like Sasha, Daisy, Heather, who are, or not Heather, sorry, no, definitely not Heather, Sonar, and Fiore, who's a literal child. So, yeah, I think there'd be, if this was like an actual show, I think there'd be a really funny joke of Afton being like, "Can't tried that before," whenever he sees the lava, which is basically fire. Well, anyways, and answer questions about each and every villain in the show, on the show, including the eliminated. The only exceptions are anyone you've been on a team with. So, for simplicity's sake, and also because I feel like it, I have, y'all can't see it, but on the other monitor, I have the original set of teams, right? Back when it was Fiore's favorites, Alejandro's allies, and Heather's herd. I have episode 1 pulled up. And that's what I mean. So, even though Heather and Toga swapped, I'm not going to be swapping the questions to answer, which does give them a slight advantage, but they're on opposite teams anyway, so it's probably fine. But now, or what was I saying? Yeah. So, 2 wrong answers and you're out. The first team to be fully out will be voting someone out permanently. So, nobody found the advantage. I swear they get found less and less often, but if found, the entire team would have gotten an extra life, meaning that they'd all be getting 3 lives instead of 2. You can see why I didn't want to give that to anyone, as that's pretty freaking, that's pretty freaking powerful, like overpowered. So, another thing y'all can't see is, just so that I'm not sitting here looking like an idiot, trying to think of questions for 15 minutes every single time, I have a spin wheel on the other monitor, and this spin wheel will be spinning for each question. So I'll go Vader's question, then Sonar's question, then Death's, then Daisy's, then Azula's, then Fiore's, right? And I think that I can't really put it on the other monitor. I was gonna put it on the other monitor, but it won't really fit in the video. But I think that this is a better way to do it, and it adds some more randomness to the season, right? Because now I can't really choose who wins this. I'm gonna have to adapt. But let's go ahead and get started with Vader's question. So Vader's question is going to be, I'll just respin, by the way, if they're on the same team. So for example, I just got one from the Mimic, and the Mimic is, let me find Vader. The Mimic is originally on his team, so I have to spin it again. Also, I'm going to be keeping the questions on since I only have 1 question per person. I want to make sure that they can actually answer enough questions if we go multiple rounds. So I just got Darth Vader's for Vader. Maybe if they get one that's on their team, I can make it to where they skip. If I get another person that was on his team originally right now, I'll make that a rule. So Malik was on his team, right? Yeah, okay. So we got Mimic, then Magica, then Vader himself, and then Malik. So I think that we'll make it to where if you have if you get 2 people on your team on the spin wheel, then we get to skip you. So Vader has been skipped, so we move on to Sonar. So that adds even more luck. This is basically gambling, but I think it's kind of cool. So Sonar got Zombie Wanda. I don't believe Zombie Wanda was originally on his team. Yeah, this might take a sec. I just wanted to add this so that I'm not, again, sitting here trying to go for like 15 seconds, or 15 minutes. So then I think that this is, yeah, okay. So Sonar has to answer Magica's question. And he doesn't really know anything about Magica, as he has no real connections to her. They've always been on complete different sides of the storylines. Even though they're on the same team, they're on different sides of the team. Literally, I have Sonar on one side, Magica on the other. And Magica's question is, who is Magica's niece? And that's Lena from last season. But I don't know if I think Sonar would be able to answer that. Probably not. In fact, I think Sonar's gone. So Sonar is our first eliminated. His ego has been tanked a little bit, but the girls will still be nice to him, even if it hurts all three of them to do so. He went to Boney Island, completely forgot to get the actual thing he went there for, then was the first eliminated in the challenge. So I think that he'll still be fine. But as for, we got Death next. Death is going to have to answer. He got one from Fiore, which is not on his team. So he has to answer, what show did Fiore previously compete on? Now, I'm trying to think through connections. Would Death ever learn that? I don't think so. I don't think Death has paid any attention to the little girl, just because it's a little girl. He's probably genuinely impressed, though, that Fiore's been able to get this far. Also, I just realized you get 2 lives. So why did I put Sonar back? Whoops. So Sonar's at 1 life. My bad, y'all. I don't have the rules up because I have the wheel up. So I completely forgot about that. Sonar's at 1. And then Death is also at 1 now. My bad. So now I am spinning for Daisy. And Daisy got... Oh my gosh, she got Fiore's as well. What are the chances of that? Well, she originally was not on Daisy's team, or on Fiore's team, so we can do that. But I do think that Fiore would have told her this by now, since they are in the same little group right here. And that is a really big piece of information. So I think Daisy would be able to say Disventure Camp pretty easily. So she passes on. And then we move on to... There is no way. What is going on? I promise it's not rigged, but I got Fiore's 3 times in a row. What? What are the chances of that? That's insane. Well, Fiore and Sin were on the same team originally, so they can't do this. But let's see if Sin's going to get skipped or not. That's crazy. Okay, it's nowhere near Fiore this time around. Darth Vader. And I don't think Vader was originally on Sin's team. Nope. So it's going to be, who was Darth Vader before becoming, well, Darth Vader? And when it comes to Sin knowing that, I think she would. Because there is one big thing you gotta remember, and that is that these people some of them do know each other from outside the game. Mainly because they were all planning together last season. However, a lot of those people didn't really pay attention to each other, because most of them thought of each other as like pawns and people to be used. However, Sin and Vader were both some of the highest ranked people, part of that group of 7. So I think that she might know this. Also, she's just incredibly smart anyway. So she is pretty easily able to say Anakin Skywalker and be correct. But next up, we have Heather. And Heather is going to get... Oh, one about Azula. But can she answer that immediately? She can. So it is going to be, what is Azula's brother's name? Now, this is where Heather and Toka have their advantage come in, which is that Heather immediately flipped, well, not immediately, but in the first 2 episodes, flipped teams. And because of that, she was on the team with Azula for a while. So I think Heather's very easily able to get this one. Now, I'm not even going to spin the wheel for Sasha, as when Lauren goes over to Sasha, which, by the way, I'm assuming she's just playing like a catwalk or something, to make it seem real, that it's like real lava. When she goes over, she's like, I do not remember you being green, what the hell? And Sasha just groans in response, and Lauren's like, it's probably fine. So she spins the wheel, she gives Sasha the question, Sasha just groans again, and she's like, yeah, no, that's definitely not true, or not the answer. So she marks 1 down for Sasha. Now we have Afton. And Afton is going to get... Oh, one about Vader. He'll probably be able to answer that. It's the same question. And they weren't on teams originally. However, they do know each other. I think that in the same talk where Sen found out, Afton also found out. So I think that Afton... Plus, wasn't it like... I think that the big 3 of them was like Afton, Sloane, and Vader. So and then like Sin was up there too. So I think that like as the main planners, so I think that he would definitely know and say Anakin Skywalker. So Afton makes it through. By the way, if we get through 2 of these and I haven't eliminated enough people, I'm gonna start deleting questions to make it more intense. And I'll shrink everyone's lives down if we get too far. Now we got Rouge when it comes to Venom, and were they originally on a team together? Venom and Rouge they were, so they can't. He can't answer this one. So we're gonna go again, and this is gonna be Wanda, Zombie Wanda. So for Zombie Wanda was also there, which means that Venom cannot, will be skipped. There we go. So for Sloan up next, I'm just trying to fly through these, y'all. Sloan got Zombie Wanda. Guys, I think Sloan is the person to have on your team for this. I don't see a world where she would fail this. So, plus she definitely knew a lot about Zombie Wanda. So I think that she definitely gets that. Toga's up next. And Toga is going to get Daisy. Almost got Bowser. Well, Daisy, she wouldn't have had to answer for Bowser, but she does have to answer for Daisy. And Daisy permanently killed one person last season. Who? And I think Toga definitely knows, as there was probably a moment where Daisy was grieving about it, because obviously she regrets it. And Toga was like, oh, that would have been fun to kill a cat. And Daisy's like, what is wrong with you? So I think Toga's got that one. So then we go to Mimic and Magica. Yeah, I'll give them both the same question since they have an extra team member, but they can't answer. What I mean is they can't tell each other the answer. Well, both of them are on a different team than Afton. However, both of them definitely know Afton's because Mimic can probably mimic it, and Magica's definitely heard it. So both of them say, "I always come back." So we end our first go through with Sonar, Death, and Sasha. All at 1, right? I'm not forgetting anyone. Sonar, Death, and Sasha. I don't believe I'm forgetting anyone. So, next up, we have... Let me close that and spin. Yeah, Sonar, Death, and Sasha. I swear, I think I'm forgetting someone. We'll see. Well, it is going to be Zombie... Vader gets a question about Zombie Wanda, which was not originally on his team. But again, due to that big thing, I think that he knows it. So Vader is able to last. We'll go through a compilation after this one. Yeah, that's what I'll do to bring it down, because I have an idea. So then Sonar gets one about Bowser, which he does have to answer. And it is Bowser's arch nemesis works where? And Sonar would say, oh, I know this one. She works at a castle. Thinking that he knows it and it's Princess Peach, but obviously it's actually Mario. So Sonar gets dropped into the lava, and he's like, ah, and then he realizes it's fake. But he doesn't tell anyone else. Everyone's gonna have to figure out on their own. Well, we move on to Death. Death gets the same question, and he does still have to answer it. Would he know it? I don't think he would. Death kind of just got screwed over here by getting Fiore's and Bowser's. I don't think there's a world, though, where he does get that. So he also falls. Next up is Daisy. And I almost got Daisy for Daisy. Daisy gets Fiore, who she originally was not with. So she has to answer, where did she previously compete? Which I think she knows. Wait, didn't she literally just have to answer that? I swear. Yeah, she did. Oh, wait, we're not going to let her answer the same question twice. Nah, she ain't getting away with that. She had to answer that last time. So yeah, I pay attention, and it just went to Fiore's again. What is going on? Oh wait, no, it barely didn't. It went to Daisy's. Okay. I'm gonna shuffle. I'm gonna shuffle it after this. Hopefully that'll help. Okay, we got Afton's though. So she has to say what is Afton's catchphrase, and she was around the Mimic enough to where I think she would know. So I'll give her that one as well. Guys, we've been going for 20 minutes. I'm just going to do the compilation, because I think this might get a little boring if I do this for another 30 minutes. So let's go ahead and get it down to our real contenders here. Our real contenders, everyone knows Sasha's cooked. I don't think Venom would know anything about anything. Toga stalks people. I'll let her stay. Fiore's a 10-year-old. Daisy knows her way around. I think that Magica will just end up getting out at some point. Heather's a people person. And then we'll have some bigger names go just to spice things up a little bit. So I think that yeah, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have these three versus these three. So, what ends up happening is we end up getting to our final six, and everyone is at one except for Dr. Sloan. So everyone has missed one question, and that I think that Sloan will be able to she'll be able to communicate to the other two, Vader and Azula, that because she is better friends with them than she is with freaking Afton, that she's gonna throw the challenge because she needs to get someone out so that one of her allies can shut up. And I think that Azula and Vader will be like, okay, that's good. So Sloan will work on pitting them, the Mimic and Afton, against each other, one-on-one. Which, by the way, she brought the 6 people together. Lauren did, for dramatic effect. She brought the 6 people's cages together. Which, by the way, by this point, everyone's realized that it's fake, because it's obvious as crap. That it's fake lava, because Lauren's not going to kill everyone with no way to one-up mushroom them. But I think that while they're being pit against each other, they don't really pay attention to their questions, and Afton and Mimic both end up falling over the course of a few questions. Meanwhile, on the other side, I think Azula accidentally fails, and I could see Vader getting one about Elmo and failing. So it comes down to Toga versus Sloan, and Toga, who's the only one who didn't really get the memo, is like, crap, I'm so cooked because I'm going against literally the smartest person on this show ever. And Sloane's like, actually, you ain't gotta worry about nothing. And she purposely gets it wrong and falls into the lava. Then she tells Afton, because Afton's like, what? She tells Afton that it was because of you and the Mimics bickering that it made her lose focus. And everyone looks at Afton and the Mimic on her team. Everyone looks at Afton and the Mimic, mad at them both. But Sloan is quickly able to say, but mainly the Mimic. And that's how we're going to lead into our post-challenge section. All right, let's see if I can actually get all of these first try. I'm never able to do that. That's why I usually cut the video. But this time, I'm not going to cut the video. I'm just going to see if I can get it. I think I'm doing good. Mimic, Magica, Afton, Sloan, Azula, Sin, Zombie Sasha, Venom. Yeah, that's good. Okay, we got everyone. So, Sonar Super Buddies is going to elimination, but before that we have our post-challenge section. And in our post-challenge section, the only thing of note to happen on Vader's Vengeance is Toga coming up to try to figure out what the heck's going on with Sasha now. So she does, and Sasha tries to say words through her, because she doesn't really have control over herself, and even if she tried to do something, Sin is right there. So I think that she's barely, during this little bit of time, she's barely able to utter a few words, which is just help me. And then she starts coughing up blood, and Toga gets too distracted with the blood to actually do anything productive. So, yeah, once again, poor Sasha. But Toga does have a secret set of access to Sasha's blood now. But now, we're going to move to the elimination order, where the real spiciness is. Wait, why is it named Elimination Order? It's supposed to be named Elimination Ceremony. I think it's because I must have not been paying attention when I did that. It's probably been like that for a few episodes now. Because I accidentally reset my entire tier list. I still have the icons, but yeah. And I had to redo everything. So that was annoying. But now, it's who's voting for who. I think that the Mimic and Magica are voting Afton. But Afton and Sloan have made their case very clear, which, by the way, Sloan knows all the team dynamics even better than Afton or anyone else. So they make it very clear that they are 100% willing to work with. They're 100% willing to work with them to get the Mimic and Magica out. That way, there can be some easy vote-offs. And by them, I mean Heather, Sonar, Daisy, and Fiore. Well, to make Sonar feel better, because he still did terrible, by the way, and still go through that little arc that I had when I accidentally put him. When I put him into the eliminated from the challenge earlier, he still has that. He's still one of the first 3 out. So I think that to make him feel better, they're like, it's your decision. Do you want to do it? Because frankly, they don't really care. Because in their eyes, all 4 of them are going to die eventually. And I think that Sonar will be like, all right, we'll do it. So the girls and Sonar, along with Afton and Sloan, go ahead and vote Magica. Now you might be wondering, what the heck? It was building up a Mimic elimination for sure. And to that I say, well, Afton's ego has convinced himself, and he was able to convince Sloane, that he, without Magicka protecting the Mimic, is going to be able to repair the Mimic and make the Mimic their loyal minion. So, maybe, if that happens, Afton will either get kicked out, or he'll just be too preoccupied, or maybe they'll get another vote, or something. So, Sloane's just like, sure, whatever. And when they went to the girls and Sonar, what they actually told him is, yeah, so we want your help voting out Magicka. I think that they'd start saying like the M of the word, and then like it would cut to elimination. So Magicka's eliminated, and she's shocked because the Mimic and Magicka for sure thought the Mimic was going home. But they wave goodbye to Magicka as like really like just being mean, right? They have that sarcastic wave goodbye. And as Midas takes Magicka away to his prison, Afton looks over at the Mimic and utters, "You're mine." So, I don't know if y'all have noticed anything interesting, but one thing that I've noticed that I've been steadily trying to do is getting rid of all of the villains, the major storyline villains from Season 1 and Season 2 outside of the end of Season 2, because that's like pretty much everyone here. But, for example, Elmo is gone, Malik is gone, Zomboss is gone, now Magicka is gone. The only people left are Mimic and Daisy, who isn't a villain anymore. All I'm saying is I might be trying to do a little bit of a shift here. I guess y'all will have to wait and see. But one more thing before I go, because I almost forgot about it again, is Boney Island. Well, I think Sonar still feels a little bad about his performance on Boney Island last time, and he obviously can't send himself twice anyway. So I think he goes ahead and probably sends... Who's he going to send? I think with his brain, he's like, well, I want to give everyone a chance. And someone who's like never gone is Sloane. So let's send Sloane. And Sloane's like, oh, yay! But she's actually really pissed off. She really didn't want to go because she wants to work on her thing. So Sloane, on her Zero Bot, I should say, not her thing. So on Sonar Super Buddies, Sloane will be going to Boney Island. On Vader's Vengeance, where do I think, or who do I think is getting sent over there? Well, I think Sin nominates Sasha, just so that Sasha can, or just so that they can get a pretty easy loss in the next challenge, because Sin wants to throw the next challenge, so that now that she has Sasha as their loyal, or as her loyal freaking slave, she has a free vote there, and she thinks she can convince a few other people, and she wants that spot as leader. So she thinks she can get like maybe Death and maybe some others as team leaders. So she's sending Sasha over. She nominated Sasha because Sasha has done well. So Vader will think, okay, she's done well, I'll send her. But also is zombified and stupid, so she's not going to be getting any advantages. So poor old zombie Sasha is getting sent to Boney Island. Well, that's all I have for today, outside of some post-credit scenes. But I did want to say that today is Monday the 12th. And on Wednesday of this week, there will be a normal Multiverse episode. On Friday of this week, there will be another normal Multiverse episode. But on Monday of next week, so a week from today, we will have a very fun episode. It is going to be a lore episode, but it won't be just me reading, right? Like some of the other lore episodes are, which is why I understand why when people rewatch the show, they don't rewatch the lore episodes. No. It is going to be a lot cooler than that, as I am going to be experimenting with Adobe Premiere Pro. That's right, gone are the days after this week of Clipchamp and all its problems. We're moving to Adobe Premiere Pro. That is also going to be where I finally make this season's intro. I'm so excited. I'm purchasing a year-long subscription this weekend, and it's going to be hype. All right, well, that's it for today, and I cannot wait for these next two episodes, but especially for that one. So stay tuned. Wait, that sounded weird. See ya.